must be so strong that no nation will dare challenge us.
We have to be prepared for war, not for defense. We're training warriors, not defenders.
That was a ridiculous waste of time. It was, I think, an operational security nightmare.
He's helping them enforce the standards that they want to achieve as well. So yeah, I mean, it's nonsense that we shouldn't bring the generals together to talk about something important.
Top military commanders from around the world listening to the Secretary of War and then the President of the United States. Politico writes this. Hegseth uses rare meeting of generals to announce new military standards. The Pentagon chief announcing new orders that would codify the highest male standards in training, set specific grooming rules, and further eliminate gender or race-based programs. He told officers that even generals and admirals would be required to pass 2 yearly physical tests, and he hinted that the Pentagon would overhaul Inspector General investigations. With that, let's bring back our panel. Brian, this is stuff that obviously Pete has talked about for years. He wrote about in a book. He stayed true to that messaging today in his speech. Got a lot of coverage going in, but it was basically as billed.
Absolutely, but it was unbelievably presented. I think we can appreciate it. I mean, I don't know if the teleprompter's on the back wall or he just memorized it, but it was just well presented. It was well delivered. No more identity politics. No more DEI. No more dudes in dresses. No more climate change worship. He had a call to generals who want to fight for a living, who want to lead men into battle. And I talked to a 3-star general today, and he said, I loved it. He goes, I didn't know what to expect. I loved it. Well, how'd you feel about traveling all this way and showing up? He goes, well, we met a lot on the buses on the way over, on the hotels on the way there, and on the way back. We had a lot of very valuable conversations. And I also talked to a just recently retired lieutenant colonel, who he believes that the only reason he was not promoted is because he happened to be this horrible thing called a white guy. And he said, I wish I stuck it out and had a chance, because this is the type of attitude I need, because on pure performance, I want to be in there. And he said, I can't wait. Because the message was, we're going to have the Secretary of War is going to have our back, and we're going to be allowed to use our own volition. Here's the thing. Does Pete have to know the right people around the world that are going to tell him who the good generals and the bad generals and the ones that want to fight and the ones that want to stay fat are? And that's just it. Does he have enough tentacles out there to get the right people and make sure they get the 4th star and make sure that they get the commissions we need?
This, as AP writes, Marines say they hit the recruiting goals and point to unapologetic standards. The Army, Navy, Air Force, with encouragement from the Trump administration, all announcing this summer that they had met their recruiting goals months ahead of schedule. That's a major shift from past several years when the military has failed to meet its recruiting goals.
Yes, the good news is this isn't deterring anyone. This is boosting recruitment, and recruitment is rising to levels that we have not seen. And the message here is standards, and that's high standards, the highest standards for the best military in the world. And to further quote Pete today, he said, these are not suggestions, our high standards for the U.S. military. Suggestions is what gets our sons and daughters killed. In the military, all around the country, I think that's something that Americans can get behind, and those in the military brass can get behind. War, not defense, said Pete. When it comes to these roles, there's people saying that, okay, gender neutral, well then women aren't going to get the same shot at some of these jobs. Well, these are merit-based jobs, and we want only the people serving in these roles that can meet the very high standards for those roles. That's how the military worked historically, and that's what Pete's trying to get back to here.
I'm guessing you don't share that.
I don't.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I'll say more. Listen, calling this meeting, which was incredibly unorthodox, and then also televising it seems like something made for Trump TV and not really how the military is supposed to operate. And the president was disappointed that no one was applauding for him, that no one was laughing at his jokes. And as the camera panned across the audience, it didn't look like white guys were having that much trouble getting these jobs. I'd say, though, that the most important thing that happened today is that Donald Trump told these generals who were flown in from all over the world that they were going to have to support him in militarizing our cities. He said the ones that are run by the radical left Democrats, what they've done to San Francisco, Chicago, New York, Los Angeles, they're very unsafe places and we're unsafe, and we're going to straighten them out one by one. And this is going to be a major part for some of the people in this room. That's a war, too. It's a war from within. And I have spent the last several weeks hearing that, it's the Democrats that are using this inflammatory language. If you're saying that there is a war from within, going on in this country, and he used the enemy within several times on the campaign trail that says something very specific, and he is telling people who have sworn an oath to the Constitution, not to him, that they are going to have to go out and police their own citizenry when state
I'm
after
sure he said all that.
well,
A couple of things. Number one, it's the people that weren't in the room that didn't have the opportunity because they weren't into same-sex marriage or they weren't a minority. That was what happened a lot under the previous Pentagon. So I think they're just going to get the best people, and that's what is really encouraging. Number two is when you look at what Pete wants to do and what they've asked to do is the National Guard knows its role. If they're going to go in there and organize and try to get control of Portland, which is out of control, Chicago, which is out of control, if they can see the chaos in Philadelphia, if they can play a role within the Constitution, they'll do it. Like DC,
but
they
he's
did
in
it.
charge
But they
of
were all walking
DC. He's
around.
not in
prison.
charge of Chicago.
That is true.
But he's allowed to deploy.
We can talk
To
to
guard a
for
building.
the next show if you want. Thank you.
Does
Tom.
Laura want
Good to see
to
you.
let it fly?
All right.
Finally, tonight, a special report salute. Happy 100th birthday to Carl Dinkelmacher. How about that? Dinkelmacher. The World War II veteran from Philadelphia, was drafted at 18, joined the Black Hawk Division in the U.S. Army. Carl came from a German family that immigrated to the U.S. through Ellis Island. His fluency in German enabled him to translate during interrogations of prisoners of war, including high-ranking officers. Happy 100th birthday.
Yay.
Tomorrow's special report, how the potential government shutdown affects federal services and benefits. Thanks for inviting us into your home tonight.